No, he was upstairs. I saw him in the flesh.
I'm here in the room a minute ago.
He was. He disappeared.
I think the last time I got them mixed up.
Oh,
You didn't have this one.
Gotcha.
Signature.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
All right. All right. It is 7 p.m. Richard, can we call the meeting to order?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. We will begin this evening's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here, and a special welcome to those residents who may be joining us via Zoom. Feel free during tonight's meetings to text any messages or questions, concerns you might have. We will cover these at the end of the meeting in new business. I would like to start this evening's meeting by commenting on the amenities we added or made significant improvements to in calendar 2020. They are summarized in the February edition of Echoes, and I encourage you to review them. The completion of this work is a significant achievement, and the fact that the work happened during COVID makes it even more remarkable. The board wishes to thank our maintenance team for all their efforts, Dave Wisman and Bruce Keller before him for their managerial oversight, and the committees for their leadership and advocacy. We would also like to recognize our road crew for all their work during this year's snow events. They have put in what I am sure seemed like endless hours, and their efforts made it possible for residents to navigate safely around the valley. Thank you. We are pleased to see that there are 6 candidates for this year's board election. There are 2 seats available. Scott Giska is running for re-election. 5 other candidates are also running: Jeff Fuel, Mike Mormon, Angel Packer, Claudia Richard, and Steve Serveld. And if I've butchered anybody's name, please get to me and let me know so I can correct it. We wish all of them well and look forward to working with whomever the community chooses for these important positions. Tonight, Dave Wisman will make a motion to spin off parks from the Lakes and Parks Committee. The primary driver for this is workload. Lakes has a number of important projects that are lake specific, and this reduces their ability to focus on anything that is not directly related to lakes. The new Parks Committee will be responsible for all amenities that are not related to the lakes, including the beach. While they have ownership for the beach, Parks will work closely with Lakes on beach issues as both groups have a compelling interest. While at the present there are no funds for new amenities, Parks will monitor the usage of existing amenities and what is required to maintain them at a high level. We will advertise for members for this new committee in the very near future. Last but certainly not least, the board would like to congratulate East Central student and Hidden Valley Lake resident, Briar Hall. Briar is officially the state wrestling champion in the 170-pound class. Congratulations, you do us proud. All right, moving on to the treasurer's report. Bob.
Our financial position for actually at the end of January, we do not have the February report reconciled until we need a few more days to get that together. But as of the end of January, so our balance on December 31st was $461,270. Our ending cash for January 31st is $732,797. Right now, the auditors have just finished up auditing our books, and we're waiting for them to put everything together to give us the final audit report for 2020. Does anybody have any questions about where we stand financially or? Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you, Bob. Scott, our secretary's report.
Thanks, Pat. I have a motion to approve the December 3rd, 2020 minutes.
So moved.
I guess I'll second it.
There you go.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Those minutes are thereby approved and adopted. Community managers report. Dave.
Good evening. We've moved the closing of the sluice gate from this coming Saturday, the 27th, to March 6th due to the ice that's still on the lake. We're worried about the damage it could do to docks. Our dredging is delayed as well for an extra week. We hope to get them started by March 15th. Maintenance is back to working on some of our regular projects. They've spent the last 2 weeks mostly on snow-related activities. We had some issues with a couple of our snows this year. They were complicated. Even though we were right on, our staff was here on site during much of the snow because of the ice and different things like that. It kind of presented some problems, but we're working on how to resolve those issues. We're also working on a way to clear off the trails earlier. The walking trails didn't get cleared until a little later than we would normally want to do. That's all I've got. Any questions?
Okay, Dave, the motion to spin off
Oh,
parks.
I'd like to make a motion to spin off Parks and Recreation from Lakes Committee.
So moved.
Bob, will you second that?
I second that.
Are there any questions or concerns from anyone in attendance? For those of you who have been here, you will realize that what goes around comes around, because it started as Parks and Recreation, then it was absorbed into Lakes, and now it is being spun off again. But that seems like the right thing to do. Okay, all in favor? Aye. And Dave will work with you to get word out to the community and to advertise for people to join this committee if they so choose. And I think you also have the Easter egg hunt
Yes.
that you wanted to.
The Children's Activity Group has requested an Easter egg hunt on March 28th at 2 o'clock. They've submitted the plan for following the COVID-19 guidelines.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion
Thank you, Bob.
pending that they actually follow the plan that they submitted.
Correct. And for everyone to know, it may seem as though we are somewhat inconsistent or go back and forth on what we do with events in the age of COVID, but we are always looking to be in adherence with what the county and the state tell us we have to do. And COVID has been something of a moving target over the past year. But be assured that whatever is above a 250 person minimum goes to the county to be approved. Anything under that, we approve. That's of today, may change tomorrow. But we do it knowing full well what the county's expectations are for safety protocols. So just to clarify that for the community. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The Easter egg hunt is so approved.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the committees, Mr. Cross.
Good evening. Tom Cross, 1573 and 4. As your agenda reads, there's one error. The Ribbits are here this evening, not for request of variance. Variance has not been filed yet, but they would like to have an opportunity to speak to the group. So we'll do that just as soon as I finish. Other business from architecture, we have some bond returns. I believe these bond returns have already been done via email in January, but
That is
we'll read
correct.
them. We'll read them into the record this
Sure.
evening.
That would be
Okay.
fine. Thank you, Tom.
All righty. Let me preface these by saying in all instances, there are 0 outstanding fines or fees. The first one is lot 815, located at 20955 Fern Grove Court. Residence owned by Orion and Angela Walston. A bond amount is $500. The second one is lot 3304, located at 20872 Belmead Drive. Owners are Nancy and Carl. Good, Lord help me, Zaradnik. Bond amount $500. I hope I didn't butcher that name. Number 3, lot 1260, located at 254 Ivy Hill Road. Maria Safera, bond amount $500. Lot number 706, located at 1137 Chalet Court, owned by Timothy and Connie Crawford, bond amount $500. And lastly, lot number 2971, located at 21394 Fox Ridge Road, owners Christian Giarini and Clinton Baker, bond in amount of $500.
Thank you very much, Tom. And just to clarify for folks, the board doesn't meet in January, but we are very anxious to get property owners the monies they are owed. They posted bonds for projects. And so during the month of January, the board approves these via email, but we want to be sure they're part of our written and oral records of the meeting. So thank you, Tom. Finance. Now, finance has no report this evening. Bob mentioned in his report that the audit committee is finishing their work. Future planning, I don't see anybody here from future planning. Is someone going to make a report for lakes? Okay. Anyone going to make a report for safety? What?
I didn't know Dave wasn't.
Oh, Ken, I'm sorry.
I mean, I didn't have anything.
Oh, Ken, would you come up to the podium, please?
I think Jimmy might be. Ken Horn, Lakes and Parks Committee, lot 2790.
Okay.
I didn't have a prepared thing here because I didn't know I was going to have to do anything for the committee. 'Cause I didn't know Dave wasn't going to be here. The big thing at the meeting, the past one, was the Highway Task Force made their presentation to the
Okay.
committee. And having discussed it and gone over it, they were sent back to revamp it and do some refreshing to it and tweak it somewhat and come back at March's meeting and go over it again. So we'll go at it at that point. Really, that was the gist of what happened. I mean, that was the main thing. The other stuff was just some of, we talked about, we got to get the boards on the front of the docks to stop the pontoon damage before season starts back up. The boat lift covers, we're discussing that and working with architecture on that. There's going to be a survey being formed. I think Scott's helping on that to get out to the homeowners and try to get that in place before season starts. So people that want to get lifts, if everything goes through approved, they would be able to have them in for this season.
Great.
So other than that, John, was there anything I'm missing?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Because-
Ken.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All righty. All right, Ginny, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have a report for safety, security, and elections?
I don't have anything.
Come on up.
Yes, you did put me on the spot. I was here to observe, but the only thing I want to mention is the elections that are coming up. And we will have a Zoom meeting for the election, excuse me, for the Meet the Candidates night. And so I'm hoping everyone will tune in and observe, and questions that you have concerning different issues to submit them so that they may be chosen to ask the candidates. That's just on the elections. Though I am on the safety and security, I don't have anything to tell you about that.
That's all right.
Sorry.
The election is front and center. And Ginny will be moderating that candidates night.
Correct.
And she puts together a stellar team that counts all the votes once they're in.
Yes, we do. We have some wonderful volunteers to help me count. excuse me, I don't count, I oversee. I have people who count for me. So thank you.
Thank you, Ginny.
Jenny, one thing quick, so the safety committee meeting was delayed, it's going to be next week, but I don't remember the day and time. Do you remember the date and time?
It's Tuesday at 6:30.
Very good, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Ginny.
So anybody that would like to attend, it's next Tuesday at 6:30.
All right.
Is that here, down?
I think it's going to be, it's going to be upstairs. Well, it's going to be either up, it's probably going to have to be upstairs. I think something else.
We're upstairs. We'll be upstairs. Yeah, we'll be meeting in the back, the back area.
Okay. Dave, Mr. Wisman, there is nothing from judicial this evening, is there?
No.
Okay. All right. Then civic, Steve.
All right, Steve Sorrell, like lot 1930 and 1931. After 2 years, I think I finally have them remembered.
That's wonderful. And I
That's a
didn't put your
major
name on it.
accomplishment. I did not ask my wife tonight. We have a full schedule for this year. The first thing I want to start off with is the polar bear plunge. That's the main one we're asking for permission for tonight. So we're looking, we did not get to do it on the first of the year. The weather and everything was kind of bad. So we're looking at next Saturday, March the 6th, which will actually coincide nicely with the opening of the sluice gate. So we're going to kind of call it the Polar Bear Plunge Welcome to Spring, even though there'll be ice in the water probably still, which will be kind of nice. We have submitted a safety plan. We have everything grouped out, viewing areas. We'll submit that plan. We'll post it as people get there so they know where to go and how to go, so we can keep people, keep our distancing and everything. So we've sent that plan to everybody. So I guess my first ask is if we can get permission to do the polar bear plunge.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns from anyone in attendance? All in favor of approving the polar bear plunge on Saturday, March 6th?
Aye.
Aye. That is approved.
Thank you. Next, I'm just going to kind of run through our schedule for the year. We're kind of hoping most of these events are the events we do every year. We've got our dates kind of worked out with everybody. Like to throw them out there so we can kind of get a calendar out in the echoes here soon so people know what to expect for the entire year. So what we're looking at in April, we do not have a date yet. We're kind of watching to see what how the guidance changes. We generally have our 70s, 80s dance. We've been working with Steve to kind of watch his guidance as he's allowing crowds back in. So we're holding off on an actual date for that one, but we're hoping sometime early April. We have our adult pool party, our first one on June the 12th at the pool. The lake float, we have tentatively scheduled for July the 17th. We're moving that up because last year the wind was horrendous. So we're hoping to maybe move it up in the season, get a little better, not quite so windy day for that one. August the 7th will be the luau. That's the traditional date for that, the first Saturday in August. And then the 14th will be the pool party. Going into September, hopefully if everything clears up, we're hoping to bring back the Labor Day Bash that we did 2 years ago, the big one, do that on September 5th. Again, we have sponsors kind of sitting, waiting to go. We have bands lined up, so we're kind of got everything in the chute ready to go for us. We're just hoping things change up enough.
Okay.
The pool party in September will be the 11th. That'll be our last pool party for the season. And then October the 30th will be the Halloween Bash at the golf course.
Okay.
Then all these events, we will, as we did last year, we will adjust everything according to whatever the guidelines happen to be to make sure that we're staying compliant, and we'll, work with you like we did last year and kind of
Okay.
adjust things up to the
Understand.
days, weeks
Be
before
flexible.
sometimes.
Be flexible.
Yes.
Okay, and if you're all right, thank you for providing us with that calendar. I know Rich is probably grateful to have that as well. If you're all right with this, why don't we just approve these events as they come up, recognizing that COVID is an ever-moving target? Because we want to do what we're required to do, and you obviously need to put together paperwork depending on what the
Right.
situation is. So we'll just wait and approve those as we go through the year.
Okay. Now, would it be all right if we put out through the echoes as tentative dates?
Absolutely.
Put a calendar out, subject to approval, things will change and then we'll go.
I think everybody's learned to be flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And then the other one I was asked to kind of mention here, really not a civic club thing, but they've kind of told us it's a civic club thing. We've gotten feedback from a lot of people up here about the yard sales. So we've talked amongst ourselves and a lot of people, and we're looking at we have rescheduled them. We moved the yard sale dates to the first weekend in May, which would be the 1st and 2nd, and then the last weekend in August. And we're going to have signs printed up that'll pretty much just say first weekend May, last weekend in August. The weather when you kind of getting into March and April has been very sketchy. October's been very sketchy here. So we've got a lot of requests to move it to nice weather and not be standing out freezing doing the yard sales.
I agree
So-
with you.
Those are the dates we've kind of pushed down. I believe those have already been published. So,
Seems like a good idea.
and that's all we have then.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much.
Good to see you. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Rich, did any questions come in?
We answered them, the questions that came in were just, when was the candidates night?
Okay,
And we just answered that.
Thursday, March 11th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that one.
Second.
This is more life than we've shown all evening. All in
Yeah.
favor? Aye. This
Aye.
meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here. And you folks on Zoom, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.